So pretty much, we already started. So we get this started. So First off, let's start this off with some sponsors,
Sponsored by Prime Heavyweight Studios.
Prime Heavyweight Studios. If you need some new clothes, come down. If you need to get a girl, your clothes are all ripped up, come down. Get some style. Get some new clothes. Get some style. I like that. And, Christmas is coming up. If you want to come in the back, there's a music studio. You'd be the next Mariah Carey or something like that. So we're here with our guest, Kat. Say some words, Kat.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Kat has half green, half purple hair right now. We're doing it big. We're artists in this room.
Yes, we are.
We bring artists, and we have our lovely guest, Mrs. Spring Moore.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
You're doing good?
I am.
All right,
crazy times, but what
crazy
can you do?
times, yeah. COVID.
Oh, my gosh.
How's it? How are you holding up through it?
It's really scary. We just came back to school in person 5 days, right at the height of when everything is getting worse. And you're never more aware of how many people are in that high school than now. It's difficult because you just want everyone to be safe, but at the same rate, everybody craves normalcy.
Yeah.
Get
really depressed being home,
Yeah, it's hard. I'm a people person.
Are all the students back, or are you staggering the classes?
Up until last week, we were staggering the classes. We were hybrid, which meant there were A students and B students, and then the C students were fully remote. Mm-hmm. But the school board had an emergency meeting and decided to bring everyone back full in person 5 days.
Wow. Starting
this past week at the high school. It started the previous week in the lower grades. So everyone's back face to face.
Jeez, and everyone's wearing masks all day.
Yes.
Yeah. So how are the kids taking that?
Some of them are compliant and even, vigilant with themselves and those around them, but you have those few in every class that you have to remind, hey, I keep saying, I don't want to see your nose, I don't want to see your nostrils, I don't want any of that.
Oh, man.
Keep your germs to yourself. And I say it jokingly, but we all
it's serious.
Yeah, we all have to be serious.
I would keep candy in my mask, I feel like.
I have kids that, from previous classes, I try not to encourage such behavior in my own, but I have kids that if they get a lollipop, they will cut a small hole in their mask so that they can eat the lollipop. And I'm like, that's not really how this works, guys. That's not really what we're looking for.
Do you use candy, in your class?
I brought in Halloween candy for the kids like I do every year and just said, I really don't want you to eat this in here, but, in the sense of normalcy and fairness, I still wanted to treat them. So I did hand out candy to everyone just as a nice thing to do. But the last couple of days, when it gets rough or when a kid finally gives an answer, if they're feeling like not answering or whatever, I will throw a piece of candy at them.
Yeah, bribery.
It works. It works.
I was basically a C+, B- student, but every time when a teacher was giving candy out, A+.
Mm-hmm.
I was
focused.
I was in the front of the class, they, raising my hand.
Participating, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I give participation points. And
definitely.
Once they see the cards come out and the pen come out, then all of a sudden they want to go to the board and write a sentence on the board. I feel like, the ability to be successful, everybody has that ability. Sometimes it just takes the smallest amount of encouragement and belief by somebody else for you to, realize what you're capable of.
Do you do popcorn reading?
I never force anyone to read if they don't want to read.
Okay, good.
But they get participation points if they volunteer, and many are eager to do that. And I do get some that, as time goes on and they grow more comfortable, they volunteer, or they're so exasperated because no one else will volunteer that eventually they'll do it, or they feel so sorry for me because they can see the pleading look in my eyes that they'll volunteer.
That was me as a kid for sure.
Yeah.
I used to hate popcorn reading because I would get distracted and I would get called on. I'd be like, well, where are we at? I have no idea.
Well, I feel like popcorn reading becomes vindictive.
Yeah.
People just pick somebody in order to try to catch them off guard. You know, it's I don't want to live out the fantasies of other students to make one another look dumb.
Right, worst nightmare for some people.
Yeah, I don't want to be that teacher that gives you that moment that you look back on in high school and don't want to remember.
Mm-hmm. It's cool though when they do it in a line, because then you could like read
count.
ahead.
Count how many paragraphs. Everybody did that. Even I did that. Which paragraph's going to be mine? Are there any words in here I'm going to stumble over? Yeah.
Sometimes I will say that I did get it a little bit easy in high school, because I will say, like, I was always funny, you know. So sometimes I feel like I was passed when I shouldn't be passed, you know.
Personality goes a long way. Some kids are going to get by on charm. They are really going to get charm. I mean, that matters. You know, does. There are a lot of professions they can go into where their personality is, going to help them be successful.
So, I think one of the best things about being a teacher has to be having summers off.
It is, for sure. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I work the whole amount that most people work in a year during the school year. I mean, you're putting in 12, 14-hour days. At least I am all the time. I have essays to read and all of this other stuff. So absolutely, the summer is all about recharging, spending time with my kids, doing the things that I don't normally get to do during the school year. Getting to read for pleasure, things like that. I don't get to do that during the school year.
Yeah. I can imagine. I feel like I would do, like, I'd be gardening, I'd be doing pottery, stuff like that.
Just random things that were not school related.
So with that being said, I know have you written any books?
No, I just edited a novel.
Oh, wow.
Actually.
Just edited a novel. Okay, What is that? We'll plug that now.
The novel is A Mile in Her Shoes. It just came out. Mark Messina, the brother of Mike Messina, in Montoursville, he wrote it. So it's a story about an autistic girl who wants to join the track team, and the characters are not just high school students, but also the adults in their lives. And it's a really feel-good read. I think anybody would enjoy it. Yeah. And it makes you feel good about humanity. It does. It's one of those kind of stories. It's funny. It's true to life.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, tell us a book idea that you have. I know you have one. I know you have a few. Can we get something?
Oh my goodness. I wish I'd known you were going to ask this. I don't know. Over the years, I've thought of all sorts of of different things, but I just don't ever have an idea that I feel like can go the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll meet someone and I think they're a really great character, or I'll recall a moment in my life and think this would be a great scene, and I think my brain works more like that. I have a much harder time thinking of a big picture beginning to end than I do a character or a scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have a hard time. I think when the idea comes, it'll be a good one, and then it will just be trying to find the time to put it down. It's one of those things that,
So while you're maybe thinking of a book idea, I'll tell you my TV show idea.
I love it. Let's hear it.
Okay. So I'm going to be in New York City.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to move to central Pennsylvania and start, building houses. So I'm going to come to central PA to start building houses. And then, I'm trying to learn everything. And the Amish are just, killing it. Like, they're building houses, like, really quick in, like, 2 days or something like that. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to keep up with the Amish, right? So I get everything together, and there's one time when I beat the Amish to building the house, right? Mm-hmm. And as soon as I finally beat the Amish, Mexicans come.
Oh my gosh.
Mexicans come, and they're doing it in half of the time.
Half the time that the Amish
Half of the time with the Amish.
Oh my goodness.
And they're like super strong. Mm-hmm. They're like, and then we have like kind of like me and the Amish, we get together.
Oh my.
Amish alliance.
I love this dynamic. Yeah. I can't say as I've ever seen anything that combined the Mexican population with the Amish population.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting market that you're going for.
Yeah, because I work at the building center, and it's just they just know how to do it. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like their culture. That's their school. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Is learn how to build stuff. So I don't know. I just think it would be funny because Amish people have like the accent, and they're a little different. I think it'd be easy to mix. So That's one of my ideas. I have
I love it.
I have 2 million. But did you think of any while you were? You think you got thrown off about the Mexican part?
Oh my goodness! I'd watch that. I'd watch that show.
Okay. Do teachers have their own bathrooms?
Yes.
I always thought you guys had your own separate bathrooms, and then I feel like Mr. Washington, he would go in there, he would light the bathroom up on purpose. He had his own bathroom, but he wanted to make us suffer.
Well, when you only have 4 minutes, you have to go, or you have to go. Somebody else may have been in there.
Yeah, it could be too.
Yeah.
So going back to my show, I see.
Okay.
So Shakespeare, because it's been a long time. So Shakespeare, it was tragedy. Everyone was it? Well,
everyone would comedies die. And tragedies.
Okay, so what was the everyone like? What everyone would die in? In
the tragedies, yes.
In the tragedies,
yes.
Okay. I want to make a comedy where everyone dies.
That could be possible.
Sure.
Do satire.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino dark comedy sort of thing. For sure, you could do it.
Yeah, like something that's not directly funny, but like when you look back at the scenes, you're like, he just why'd he fall out the window?
Sure.
like something like that.
Sure.
So Max.
Yeah.
I love Max. He's 22 now.
He's 22. You should have Max in here. He's funny. He'd keep you laughing the whole time.
I was thinking about having him in, but yeah, he'd come. He helped me out. He was like,
this is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah. So Max is 22. I'm 28.
Yes.
So I was like,
it was your junior. I taught juniors then, so it was your junior year.
It's my junior year, and I was struggling. Max did my homework.
It was I would bring Max in on the Bring Your Kid to Work day, and he would always teach my classes. And this is students that I had back in Clyde's era always remember that, And Max came in and taught that day, and somewhere in the free time of that, Clyde was sitting in the back corner of the room, and eventually I just sent Max back to help Clyde. Mm-hmm. Clyde was like the human version, if you're familiar with the Peanuts comic strip.
Yes.
And Pigpen and how Pigpen always had the cloud of dust.
Yes.
That was Clyde with papers. And Max is the least organized person I know, but he was actually exasperated with Clyde. So Clyde's back there and the papers are flying, and I can hear little Max, 6 years younger than you. You were 16, so he was, 10? Going, oh, come on, Clyde. And he's back there organizing Clyde's binder and chastising him and helping him get his life in order. And Clyde's apologizing to, 10-year-old, I'm sorry, Max, I don't know. And Max is back there. I can see him rolling his eyes and, putting Clyde's life together for him.
It was great. It was so funny. I thank him for that. That was really fun. But, yeah, so, I was really unorganized,
Yes.
If I were to get book checked, I wasn't making it to the next class.
No, you were not. It was insanity. He couldn't, even if he did the work, he had a hard time locating the work.
Oh, no. It would just disappear.
Then eventually he would just give up. He'd be like, I did it, but I don't know. It's in here, so I'll catch you later today. When I find it, it'd be all crumpled with the corners or whatever.
In the wrong notebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy you remember that. I'm sweating.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's also true.
Oh, the anxiety's coming back.
Yeah, no, I have lots of students that are like that. And many times they'll say, I didn't do it. I said, just look, just be patient. I shoved my papers into my books too. There always was never enough time to organize in class, and so I didn't bother with it. I would shove my papers in the textbook themselves rather than trying to shove it into a notebook many times. I understand. Now I could find it. It was in the right textbook. But I get it. Yeah. I don't come down on people for that. Their life is easier if they're organized for sure, but I'm not judging you while you're getting your life together. That's
so
all right.
Maybe that's what makes me so creative.
For sure, I can be disorganized, and my house is a wreck.
So I'm gonna try. I tried to say this earlier. So kids with learning disabilities.
Sure.
Say ADHD.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think about medicating them? So it's not really a good I didn't put it right, but so for example, I had a friend who when he would come to school, he'd be so energetic, so much fun, so funny, he wasn't the best kid. He would get like in trouble a lot. But then when he would, take the medicine, he was like a
zombie.
Yeah, he's a zombie. Mm-hmm. So I was wanting to get your thoughts on that.
So when I was student teaching, I had a kid who, for the first time in my life, and I was student teaching, so granted I hadn't had a ton of experience, but he was someone for whom the medication was essential. You could see the difference. He could not pay attention. I mean, it was sad. He was trying to pay attention. You could see him start to wander and try to snap himself back, and he could not pay attention without it. And when he was on it, he still, you could still have a good conversation with him, and so for him, he needed it. I get it. I have met few people after that for whom that case was, that it was as severe as that. I don't like to see somebody's personality be suppressed to that point. It concerns me. It's great if there's a sort of happy medium where it doesn't have to be that way. You don't want someone to be that medicated that their joy in life and the joy they bring other people is not there. I don't know what to say to that, because I understand that in order for the medication to be effective, you have to take it with some regularity. It would, in my mind, it'd be good if they only had to take it in situations where they really, truly needed it. I had a kid on my OM team. The kid was hilarious. When he was off his medicine, you knew he was off his medicine, and he was extra funny, but at the same rate, he could tell that he couldn't pay attention, and, so... And it didn't make him not funny or not enjoyable when he was on his medication. So, again, there are some people that you can tell that it's successful for them. But I don't want to see anybody have to be a zombie just so that they can learn. I try to welcome personalities as much as I can, and I try to keep things as engaging as I can. I'm not afraid to call you out if you're not paying attention, but not in an embarrassing way. I try to keep everybody with me as best I can and meet them where they're at. It makes me sad to know that there are some people that is the case for.
Yeah, for me, I was prescribed it. Like, the teacher said that I should use it, and my mom was like, "No way, not a chance." So and I really thank her for that, because
absolutely,
I don't know.
You figured out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And you could, and I know that there are some that cannot.
Yeah.
But if there is a way to.
You think it's really case by case?
I do. If I wouldn't have had that experience when I was student teaching, I might have felt differently. But that really did show me that there are some people for whom, but you want to find some other way to accommodate it if you can. I get that as a parent. I would feel that way too. I wouldn't want to do that.
There's a very thin line between genius and crazy.
Absolutely, yes, for sure.
Like I was doing a little research on Freud. His impact was huge on society, but he was crazy.
Yeah, he's pretty wild.
Yeah,
Freud is pretty wild.
Him, artist, me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes you could, when you're coming up with all these really great ideas, people, in order for you to be a genius, you have to think what people can't think.
Absolutely.
And then
you have to break the boundaries.
Yeah.
And I think when you break the boundaries, you make other people uncomfortable. And so they throw out labels like crazy and things like that because, we like our comfortable box. But in order to progress and grow and even to find joy, I think we have to be willing to break those boundaries and shatter those glass ceilings.
Where'd you go to college at?
I went to Susquehanna for a year, and then I transferred home to Lycoming.
Lycoming? Okay, so you're from this area.
I graduated from the high school.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know that. I just want to know how. So I graduated 2010. I got 10 years older, and you got 10 years younger.
Oh, stop! Stop.
That gets me. You're not vegan or anything like that.
No,
right? Okay,
I'm not vegan.
Get her a TikTok and be famous.
My God!
Are you a hippie?
Why do people always ask me that question? It literally happened yesterday in class. Why do people ask me that question? Is it the long hair?
I think
it's kind of everything.
Being jovial and being happy and kind of down to earth. You know, I mean, maybe the long hair, because a lot of long-haired hippies, you know, you got that stereotype. Sure. But I think it's just the kind personality, because, I don't know, man, like, what do you think of when you think of a teacher? I kind of think of, like, a straight-laced, nerdy person. Yeah. You know, the kind that you see, the old 50s style.
Oh, sure.
With with that kind. I mean,
yeah, no, I'm not that. Yeah. I don't know. I get asked it a lot. I get asked
if you don't know, that means that you are. Because
okay. Yeah.
I mean, you're not a poser. So I could just see you Indian sitting in a park on a blanket.
I Indian style said, we're not supposed to say that anymore. I crisscross applesauce sit on. Yeah, you're not supposed to say that anymore. Yeah, it's really hard for me to because I never meant it in a negative way. But I get it. I don't want to offend anyone. I do it. I sit like that on desks all the time when I'm teaching. You know, I'm walking around and I'm right there, you know, on the desk. I have a hard time sitting normally. I'm always contorting in some way. It's hard to just sit.
Crisscross applesauce is what they call it?
Yep, that's what the kids say, crisscross applesauce.
Jesus Christ. I understand it.
You're old is what that means. The fact that you just said Indian style, that's we're dying.
Offended, didn't think about it that way.
Yep, dying. Well, and it's hard. I'm teaching myself. You know, you're not supposed to, they told me when I was, you know, in school to be a teacher that you're not supposed to say things like guys. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Because that could be
gendering,
it could be offensive, but I have a hard time. I call everybody, I say guys, I say listen dude, I say these things all the time. You know, a man, whatever comes out of my mouth, it's not offensive. I mean, I'm not trying to be offensive in any way. Anything that I use like that is all inclusive, man, all inclusive.
Dude is gender neutral.
Dude is gender neutral. It is.
Do you know why? Because he's a dude. She's a dude, you're a dude,
we're all dudes. That's good.
What is that from?
I think it's from a movie or something.
It is from a movie.
Yeah. She's a dude.
We're all dudes.
Yeah, what's it from?
Dudes.
I feel like that's like Bill and Ted or something.
It's going to drive me nuts. It's going to drive me nuts. Somebody has to look that up and tell me. I have to know. I can't stand it when I can't figure something out. Like if I hear a voice in a commercial and I can't immediately identify it, because I'm pretty good at that, then I have to figure it out.
It's from... oh my gosh, the Burger movie with Keenan Kel.
Good Burger.
Okay, all right.
Good Burger.
Okay, there it is.
That's good.
Yeah, that's how you know we're old. That's how you know we're old, right there.
So, I mean, I'm glad that...
That came out in 1997.
Like the year I graduated from high school.
Like the crisscross applesauce and, you know, like not saying like Indian sitting and like I'm glad that stuff is changing, you know.
Sure.
Like
absolutely.
Like I want to go back to, you know, Mr. Ferry's class and say he was the history teacher and say you lied. Christopher Columbus was not a great guy.
Mr. Ferry is pretty progressive. I doubt he was touting Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't him. You know,
I don't think it was him.
But for like, you know, but they're growing up.
For sure.
The books said that he was a good guy.
Absolutely. I can remember doing like cut and paste stuff. They don't even do cut and paste anymore. I feel like half my elementary education was freaking cut and paste. Mm-hmm. And there's always be one kid over there eating the paste in the corner. I never got that. That was weird for me. I did judge that person a little bit, I won't lie. But we celebrate Christopher Columbus, all of those things, yeah. No, and then when I had you for American Lit, I was honest with you guys, because remember we read, well, I don't know if you remember, but we read Bradford and him the reflections that he had when he first got here, the first Thanksgiving and all of those things. That was the nonfiction piece that we did, and I was honest with you guys about the infecting the natives with smallpox and all of those kinds of things. I was upfront with you.
So I want to do another sponsor. Hobie's Hoagies. Pizza and wings. Have you ever had Hobie's Cat?
Oh my gosh, I love Hobie's Hoagies. I will definitely plug them. Their turkey subs are slamming. Really, really like the 21-inch sub that you can get. That'll feed you for like 2 days. It's so good.
Have you ever had Hobie's?
You know, I was just talking about this. I have a student that works at Hobie's Hoagies that just said this. It was literally just yesterday, and
Michael.
I have never... Yeah.
Yeah, Michael, yeah.
Yep, I have never had it. I've never had it.
Gotta try
it. And I
it.
asked him what I should try. And he said some sort of chicken wrap. The
wraps are good.
Recommended.
The cheesesteaks are good. I just recommend Hobie's all the time. Mm-hmm. I order from DoorDash all the time, and I'm always excited to see the 21-inch sub coming through.
If you're in Williamsport, order Hobie's. Don't order through DoorDash because you got to give the delivery drivers their money. But but yeah, order Hobies. You can call there. You can tell them my name, and nothing will happen because they don't even know that I am promoting this. But it's a family friend, and you should go to Hobies. I want to say thank you to one of my favorite teachers, English teacher, Miss Spring Moore. Thank you. Is there anything about your name?
Yeah, my name.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. Yeah, my mom. I was born in the spring. That's always a question that I get asked. Have you ever seen the original Parent Trap?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
The original. That's Haley Mills. So there's another Haley Mills movie called The Truth About Spring, from that same era, which I'm guessing is like, I don't know, 60s, 50s. Mm-hmm. And that character's name is Spring, and my mom just really liked the name. She did. My middle name is the most common middle name ever, though, so it balances.
Is it
out.
Marie?
It is Marie.
Oh, there you go.
It is Marie. Yep, Spring Marie. That's it.
So your family, like your mom, was she like into like literature and things like that as well? Is that how you kind of like fell in love with it?
I can remember her reading somewhat when I was little, but she was a single mom, so she was working a lot, so she didn't have a ton of time for reading. I do remember her reading, and she always read to me. She read to me every night. I always wanted another book, another book, another book, another book. So for sure it started there. I can remember my grandfather, who was a speed reader, because I grew up in a house with my grandparents and my mom and a couple of my uncles were all there and in this old farmhouse. And my grandpa would just speed read through these westerns and all of these other things. And I loved to just curl up next to him and watch him read. But my aunt was a writer. She always wrote poetry, and she was working on a book. And she used to sit with me when I was little, and we would write poetry together. I would write a line, and she would write a line, or we would each write a poem about a particular topic, and those sorts of things. And I really think that probably developed it the most. Probably my Aunt Ruth was, I would say, the biggest influence when it comes to specifically writing. But my mom reading to me was a huge part of it too, for sure.
All right, I think that's all I have. So I just want to say again, thank you so much. I really love you.
I love you too.
I really appreciate you. I'm glad that you're one of the people out there on the front lines. I hope that my children and I wish everyone could have a Miss Moore in their life.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
My high school career would have been a lot nicer to have one. Trust me.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for all the listeners. We're going to try to do these every week. We're going to have people that I like.
As you should. As you should.
You could listen. You could not listen. At the end of the day, we're artists, and we're going to make art.
For sure. You have to. You have to.
So, thank you. I really appreciate you, Miss Moore.
I appreciate you.
And things will get better.
Yes.
COVID's going to end, and things are going to go back to normal.
Yes, eventually. It has to happen.
And you're going to write that book, okay?
Okay.
All right.